Hi, how's it going? This is Mr. Jones, esteemed teacher, and thanks for joining me today on this channel, which you know is dedicated to empowering you as the parent to be the most impactful teacher that you can be in your child's life. The topic of today's broadcast is ADHD, or what's commonly known as ADHD, and the technical term is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And so here's what's going on right now in our schools. Literally every year we're having thousands and thousands of children who are being diagnosed and in many cases misdiagnosed as being ADHD. And so what I wanted to do was come on here and inform you as the parent in terms of some things that you can do should your child be recommended to be tested for ADHD. And so that's where we're going to start, the testing component. So the process should go something like this, and I know it'll vary state by state, but should the teacher in the classroom observe some behaviors or some work product that is cause for alarm or attention, and hopefully this is over time, that teacher may contact you as the parent and say, hey, I have some concerns. The concerns may be about behavior. The concerns may be about quality of work. They may be about whether work is even being turned in. But whatever these concerns are, the teacher may reach out to you as the parent to say, hey, I'm concerned that maybe your child has ADHD. So you as the parent, here are some things that I recommend that you do should you be in that situation. Number one, you want to set up a meeting with that teacher immediately to get ideally some FaceTime. You want to be able to sit down with the teacher so that you can look at some of the work product from your child, so that you can look at some of the files and some of the records, the data that they've amassed that's kind of led them to making this recommendation that your child be tested. Number two, after kind of going through everything with the teacher, you as the parent need to make that decision as to whether you think the teacher's assessment is accurate. And then from there, you can approve of your child being officially tested to see whether they are indeed or do in fact have the learning disability ADHD. Now, something to keep in mind that's concerning is that these diagnoses or recommendations for diagnoses are typically issued to male children and minority children at higher rates. So if you do have a male child or a minority child, that's something you might want to keep in mind. Two, you also want to think about, as it pertains to ADHD, think about the world around your child. Think about the stimulation, because the definition of ADHD is the inability to control impulsive behaviors or focus for extended periods of time. And so what we have here in our digital societies, we have children who are growing up in environments that are overstimulated. If you think about just some of the apps that they interact with on their phone, or some of the software in the computer, or the video games that they play, children are accustomed to vibrant colors and sounds and music and things of that nature. And then sometimes they go into the classroom and it's very static and very dry. And so one thing that you want to look at with your child is how much stimulation are they getting outside of the classroom? And is that contributing to their inability to maybe concentrate or focus while they're in the classroom, because there's such a big disparity between, you know, the stimulation that they're getting in the world and then what's happening in the classroom. And so what you want to do as the parent, if the teacher brings this to your attention, is to also request to do a classroom observation to see the teacher's style of teaching. How do they manage the classroom? How do they engage the learners? How are they making their lessons fun, exciting, engaging, relevant to the real world? What makes a really impactful lesson is when the learner can really connect that to something that's outside of the classroom. So as the parent, you remember, you do have the power as to whether your child really gets the full diagnosis and therefore may even be, subject to taking medicines. The teachers tried to recommend that I was ADHD. They told me that I was ADHD. They told my parents that I was ADHD. And I'm so grateful that my parents pushed back a little bit and decided not to test me and decided not to put me on Ritalin because I turned out okay. I mean, I'm a Harvard graduate. I have an advanced degree. I'm doing okay. And even if I did get diagnosed with ADHD, I still would be okay because my parents were involved in my upbringing the same way you are. And so there are a lot of solutions should your child even be diagnosed with this. It's not the end of the world by any stretch of the imagination. And your child still has just as much opportunity to be amazing as any other child. So I wanted to hop on here and kind of talk a little bit about ADHD, what it means in terms of your child's potential diagnosis or actual diagnosis, and just giving you some tips to think about in terms of the environment your child is immersed in outside of the classroom and what kind of environment are they in inside the classroom. Could it be that maybe the stimulus that they are experiencing outside of the classroom is making it more difficult for them to concentrate in the classroom, either because they're overstimulated outside the classroom and understimulated in the classroom, or perhaps that they're just understimulated in the classroom, period, because maybe the lessons aren't as engaging, or maybe they don't speak to the population of students that are in the classroom. So I won't hold you for long. I wanted to talk a little bit about attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD, and how you as the parent, and remind you as the parent, that you have the power to control your child's educational outcomes and future. And so yes, we as the teachers, we care about your child. We want what's best for them, but nobody wants what's best for the child more than you as the parent. And so I hope this helps. My name is Mr. Jones, the STEAM teacher. It's been great talking about ADHD. If you have questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment box below. And if this video has added any value or been fruitful to you, I would greatly appreciate a like, a subscribe, and hit that bell so that when I release videos and content in the future, you'll be the first to know. All right, I'll talk to you soon.